What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about that gameplay reveal for Horizon Forbidden West, and also talk about the no release date, the big conclusion, the big closure to the overall presentation. Now, I absolutely loved it. I'm almost at a loss for words as to how incredible it is. Horizon's one of my favorite. It isn't my favorite, but my dear God, it rises up the ranks the more I think about it. And then every time I see this game or think about this game, it continues to just go up in terms of how excited I am, and I think how much I'm going to love this game. It looks absolutely insane. So before I gush too much more about this and talk about the release and the gameplay, make sure if you haven't already, you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, give this video a like. All my other stuff is in the description below, as well as we have Patreon and we have channel memberships we recently opened up just for additional ways to support the channel. Never forcing you guys to do it, but obviously those are there if you guys want to. So let's just jump in. Obviously, again, the release date I want to talk about first because, I'm going to be honest, I really did think it was possible. Now, they did say at the very end that they're going to be talking more about specific aspects of the game closer to release. Now, you say that's kind of a general statement. Developers and people in the industry say that all the time. So I thought when they said that, I was like, ooh, hard to say that and then give a release date right after, because you could have said, we'll be giving more details as we lead up to our November 15th release. I mean? You would say it like that for contrast. So it does suck. I mean, I'm not going to lie. We're not going to play the game where, we're not going to get disappointed about these things and stuff like that. I am disappointed we don't have the release date. I want the release date. I want this game out this year. At the same time, I'm not going to march to Guerrilla Games. I'm not going to, organize a protest. If the game gets delayed internally, seemingly again, because I feel like it's already been delayed internally a couple times, if it gets pushed and it comes out in 2022, you know what? I mean, it's going to suck in terms of the fall. There won't be that big PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 game, but it is what it is. I really, that's how I see it, is that I'm disappointed that they didn't give us a release date. I will be disappointed if the game doesn't come out this year. At the same time, it is what it is, and obviously the stuff around the world, and I want them to make a good game. I really do. So I want it this year, and hopefully they're going to give it to us this year. And also maybe they're doing it too because I still assume they're going to do a E3 replacement show towards the end of June. Some people have said July, maybe August, whenever it is. Maybe it shows up again there and they do another trailer, or they mention the release date there. Maybe they're more comfortable saying the release date in July. And I would imagine, final thing I'll say about the release, and we'll talk about the amazing gameplay, is that you probably, if you're Sony, you probably don't want to give the release date to then get delayed. I mean, it looks, the bigger the game is, the bigger the franchise is, the bigger the publisher and developer, it does look bad, or it looks worse when you delay it. So if they say October and then it comes out in 2022, that just factually doesn't look good. So I assume that's a really big reason why they're not willing to say the date, is because they're just kind of afraid that it may get pushed back. At the same time, they did say 2021, and so if it doesn't come out in 2021, obviously we would all know it's been delayed. Okay, talking about the gameplay, what I love, let me say this, what I love about sequels, potential of sequels, is that you have an opportunity to build off of, sincerely and seriously, you can build off of the original. And what I mean by that is when you're watching Forbidden West gameplay, I'll be honest, there's nothing that insanely jumps out about the additions to the gameplay. There are some very cool elements. There are some very nice ideas where it's like, man, that I love that they came up with that's in addition to all the other stuff we've been doing. So just the idea of the grappling line to get out of situations, or the shield, the blue shield that's like a parachute as you jump. When they did that the very first time they did it, I was like, holy God, that's incredible. I love, but those are, to be honest, those really are smaller details, but you can use what you did in the first game and build upon it. That's why a Days Gone 2 sequel, or a Days Gone sequel, by the way, would be very, very good, because you build off of the original, where you make it so fluid in a way, right? Where it's yeah, it's obvious that these are kind of things that you would add on, and you're using things that are already, pre-existing. That's kind of what stood out to me, when she's doing her, parkour is hard, especially because we just saw, Dying Light 2, but when she's walking on logs and she's jumping, it still has like a stiffness to it. Like it still looks in a way like 2017's Horizon, which, you know, like that is, I guess, maybe a little bit of a weakness, but it wasn't broken. It still would work relatively well here. So you know, would I want that to be fixed? Yeah, maybe make it a little bit more fluid, but like you can tell certain things are very, very similar. The weapon wheel, how you aim, again, like the parkouring or the climbing, a lot of that is very, very similar. But that's okay because you build on top of it, and that's what you're doing. You see it throughout the entire thing. There is strategy here, and you know, I love it because like Horizon's it's not a very difficult game, but it's a game you have to think, and when you watch people play it and then you play it yourself, it's just so different because you're in that atmosphere and you're in that like setting, and all these things are happening, and you panic and you use the wrong weapon type, and you know, maybe you think of a different way of handling an enemy than somebody else would. So what I'm basically getting at, you know, when she was taking down like the mammoth at the end, it was incredible, right? And it seemed almost easy, and I wonder if people would pick on that almost as like a criticism, because I'm going to guess, I don't know this for sure, but I'm going to guess that when you actually play the game, I mean, it's going to be difficult because there's different ways of handling it, and you may not handle it the same way as whoever, you know, is playing as Aloy there. So, you know, I absolutely loved it. It's bigger and better, but it's not better just because it's bigger. You know what I mean? Just because you can go underwater doesn't immediately mean it's going to be better, but it is. And don't even get me, if you guys know me, don't even get me started on the water. I am flabbergasted, is probably the right word to use. I cannot believe how good the water looked. I will be spending 80 to 90% of the time underwater. Even though most of the game is probably out of water, I will be spending most of the time in the water. Outrageously good. Outrageous. The only thing I guess I hope is, like any game that allows you to go underwater, and by the way, I do love that they said that there's no breathing stamina thing, right? You can just go underwater as long as you can. I like that. I like the idea of like monitoring your oxygen. You have to come up for air and stuff. Like I get why games would do that, and I understand that. I just think, you know, you're underwater. It's a sandbox, literally like a sandbox type game. Let us explore. Let us have fun. So, you know, I'm glad that they're letting us do that, where you don't have to go up. But the thing with underwater stuff, as always, is there just has to be stuff you can do underwater to keep you interested. That's pretty much it. Visually, looked good. It didn't. It doesn't look like the greatest thing on planet Earth, okay? And I think that's, again, still because it very much is Horizon 2017, just a kind of upgrade. I'm not saying like it looks bad. I'm not even saying it looks good. It looks great, if not better. It just doesn't look like the best thing we've ever seen, okay? But visually, in terms of like the setting, okay, it looks amazing, and the water looks absolutely amazing. So more like the vistas look really, really good. It's just the up-close stuff definitely is a lot, I would say, more comparable to 2017 than anything, okay? But again, I am honestly blown away. I am. It's actually tough or weird because, again, it's very familiar. It feels very familiar. I do think the game, even though it's been, I mean, and again, I'm not knocking it. Don't take it as me knocking it. It's been 4 years. It's been over. By the time we get the game, it could be 4.5, almost 5. Maybe it is 5 years if it gets delayed till 2022. It'll have been a long time since that game. And I think it's still going to feel, in terms of the gameplay mechanics, even in terms of looks in some ways, I think it is going to look and feel familiar. But it's going to be one of those just bigger is better kind of things. I think everything is going to be improved. I think fighting already, and like the strategy behind it and all that stuff was always amazing. I think that's going to be up even higher. The story, the graphics, the exploration, the kind of the fun level of it. I honestly think just everything is going to be up. So I would feel like if you liked, you know, the original Horizon, I think this game is just going to be upping it really in all ways. I think if you didn't like it, that's maybe more of the, but again, like if you're a game in a franchise, The Last of Us Part 2, I don't think if you didn't like The Last of Us, I don't know if you would like The Last of Us Part 2, because they still are very similar. So, some would argue some dropped, right? Uncharted, if you didn't like Uncharted 3, why would you like Uncharted 4? You know what I mean? So it is a situation like that, but I am very happy with it. It's just, I am kind of shocked that they didn't do a release date, but who knows? Maybe they'll do it relatively soon. So let me know, guys, in the comments below, what'd you think? What were some of the positives? Maybe what were some of the negatives? As always, let me know. Make sure, again, you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on. Leave this video a like. It didn't give out notifications, which I knew it was going to do that. So make sure you guys are liking it to help spread it around YouTube. Again, all my social, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, second channel, Discord, all that stuff, Patreon, memberships, we got all that stuff in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you all on the next video.